Hey guys, this is Carrie, and in this video, we're going to be taking this crazy shopping list and making a shopping list website for it. So this shopping list was just created by using a random list generator that I found online, but maybe your parents give you like a really annoying set of things to go to the store and buy, and you'd like to put it on a website so that you can access that list from anywhere in the world, and you don't have to access it from, I don't know, like a handwritten list or something. So here we go. Let's save it, refresh it, and nothing appears, which is good. And we want to display each of the items in the shopping list. Now, I want this to be a little more technical of an example than the last one we looked at with narratives. So rather than just display these things like we did before, I think we can actually create more of an actual shopping list. So in order to do that, let's make this look more like a web page and add some HTML before our script tags. It's been a long time since we've done this, but it's good to review, right? So let's create a header, H1 tab, and then we get shopping list. Now, the shopping list should actually look like a list, and we did list way back like 4 months ago. So if we think about the two different kinds of list, it's more like bullet points, I think, for this one, which would be an unordered list. Now, just to review the concepts and kind of show how powerful this idea is, if we want to make this list by hand, kind of, or by brute force, we'd have to go through and we'd have to create a list item tag and put pesto in it, a list item tag and put corn syrup in it, a list item, blah, 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 and it would take a really long time. But we're going to use kind of the power of that for each loop, the power of programming, to go through this loop, this list, and do the same thing for each one of these ingredients. So let's give this a save and a refresh. So I'd like it to look like this, but with all the ingredients instead. So how do we do it? Display each of, and when you're thinking about kind of like mentally translating your English words to programming words, when you hear like each of, it really should remind you of a for each loop. So what we want to do is we want to say, take the shopping list items, and then for each of these, we want to do the same thing. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a temporary code word to describe each one of these things as we go through. So maybe I'll call that code word ingredient. And this could be whatever you want, but it's a good idea to choose a descriptive word, right? Because then you know what you're doing as you read through it. I could have chosen food or item, but I chose ingredient. Notice the two sets of parentheses. Now, in between these two, we're going to create an arrow function. So we're going to say for each ingredient, do this. And we lay it out with curly braces and that arrow, just like before. And now it looks like the thing we want to do is we want to create a list item for each one of these. So let's say let list item equal, and the way we build a list item, right, is we take that li tag, then let's add inside of that li tag whatever the current ingredient is, and then let's close that list item here. And if we add all these things together, we'll create a list item opening tag, it will create the ingredient inside, and it will take the list item closing tag and add that to the end. Now, it looks like what we want to do is we want to insert each one of these into our unordered list. So in order to interact with this unordered list, we need to select it. So that should remind you of early on JavaScript. To select this unordered list, let's go to the top and let's use document.querySelector. So let the unordered list, this is too hard to spell. Let the UL equal document.querySelector. And to select this unordered list, we can just say select the only unordered list on the page, the only UL. All right, semicolon. So now that we've selected the unordered list, we're going to be able to interact with this by putting things inside of the HTML. And that's actually a really descriptive way of saying it because we want to change the inner HTML of this list. So as we go through this item by item, we want to add into the inner HTML of our unordered list whatever the current list item is. So let's write that as a comment. Add to the UL whatever the current list item is. So let's make a mistake. Let's say ul.innerHTML is going to equal whatever the current list item is. So save that and refresh it. And it looks like when I refreshed it, I only got apple butter, which is only the last item. And the reason why we got this is each time through the list, we're completely changing the inner HTML of it to whatever the current list item is. It looks like what we want to do is we want to say, change the unordered list, inner HTML, to whatever it used to be. We don't want to get rid of all the old stuff, whatever it used to be, plus the current list item. So give that a save and a refresh, And oh, I have a bit of a mistake here. Pesto, corn syrup, and now we've got everything else. It looks like I have to start with the list empty, so let me do that. I'm going to start with it empty. So I delete all the items from it, and now we've got a blank slate to start. Sweet. It looks like our list is totally formed. But we could do some more useful things with this. Sometimes it's really hard when you go shopping because you leave out an ingredient. And what might help us to handle this is to actually sort it alphabetically first. So this is sort of the power of using list, right? Is that sorting it alphabetically would take me a really long time if I did it by hands. So let's do it in a single line of code. Let's do shoppinglist.items.sort. And this is just going to sort it. So now when we refresh it, we'll get our entire shopping list in order. Now there are some more powerful things that you could do here. Let's see. If you wanted to scream all the ingredients, oh, well, no. Let's just leave it at this. I think this is a kind of complete example. Perhaps the last thing you might want to do is add some style to this list, and it's really easy to do. So you just go into the style tags, and then whatever style you want to add, you could say make all of the list items have a color of blue and a background of pink. And now you've got a really hideous shopping list. But that sort of emphasizes again, I think, the power of using programming to generate this. Is it only took 4 lines of code to change what 100 ingredients look like. All right, I hope you guys found this video helpful. See you, well, you're going to be in class when you watch it, so get your checkpoints.